It started like any normal night. I had just finished binge watching a show, yawning, feeling that usual drowsy pull toward sleep. My apartment was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels safe, familiar, until it doesn't. I had just turned off my lamp and pulled the covers over me when I noticed something strange. A feeling, a cold, prickly sensation crawling along my skin like a warning. I ignored it at first. Maybe it was just nerves, or the fact that I live alone. Then I saw it, or maybe I felt it first. The sense of being watched. Not from the corner of my eye like someone was standing there, but deeper. Something was inside the room, watching, waiting. I froze. My body stiffened under the blanket. My eyes scanned the room in the dark. The shadows seemed wrong, not natural, longer than they should be, almost bending toward me. At first, I told myself it was imagination. Maybe the late-night show had warped my mind. Maybe it was the street light casting strange angles across the walls. But then, a sound, soft, almost inaudible, a whisper of movement behind me. I don't turn around immediately. I can't. My heart is hammering. I can hear it in my ears loud enough to drown out anything else. A second passes, then a third. My eyes, wide open, track the faint outline of my bedroom, and that's when I saw it. Not a shadow, not a person, something different, something that didn't belong. The air itself seemed to warp around it, dark, thin, watching. And I realized it wasn't human. I don't know how long I sat there frozen, trying to convince myself to move. I couldn't even breathe properly. All I could do was stare at the corner of my room where the darkness now felt alive, watching me. That night, nothing touched me. Nothing attacked. Yet the fear was enough to keep me awake until the sun rose. And even in the morning, the feeling didn't leave. It wasn't just a dream. I knew that much. Something was in my room that night. Something that had been watching me sleep. And I had no idea how it got in.
The next night, I tried to convince myself it was a fluke, a one-time thing, maybe a trick of my mind. I set my alarm, checked the locks, even double-checked the windows. Everything was normal. Everything should have been safe. And yet, the moment I closed my eyes, I felt it again. That same presence. Watching. Waiting. I tried to open my eyes, to look around, but my body felt heavy, almost glued to the bed. The air in my room felt thicker, harder to breathe. The shadows in the corners were darker than the night outside. Then I noticed movement, slow, just at the edge of my vision. Something shifting, not walking, floating maybe, sliding across the floor without a sound. I blinked, and it stopped. I couldn't hear it, I couldn't see it clearly, but I could feel it. The sense of awareness, intelligent, deliberate. It was studying me, waiting for a moment of weakness. I wanted to scream, I wanted to run, but I was paralyzed, stuck in my own room like a rabbit under a predator's gaze. And then, a whisper. Not words, just a sound. A vibration that felt like it went straight into my chest. My bed shook slightly, though nothing had touched it. I forced myself to look, just for a second. My eyes scanned the corners, the doorway, the closet, and there it was. A shadow-like figure, not fully solid, not fully visible, too tall to be a person, too thin to be anything normal. Its eyes, or what I think were its eyes, glowed faintly, like the reflection of streetlights on wet asphalt, and they were locked on me. I realized then that it wasn't just watching, it was learning me, my habits, my reactions, my fears. I grabbed my phone, intending to turn on the flashlight. My hand shook so badly I dropped it. The screen flashed on, illuminating the room for a brief second, and the figure vanished. But I knew it hadn't gone. It was still there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the next moment. From that night on, sleep became a war. Every shadow, every whisper, every movement in the dark felt like a threat. I couldn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? A human couldn't be doing this. Something else was in my apartment. Something patient, something intelligent, something not human. I had to find out what it wanted.
It didn't take long for the pattern to repeat. Night after night, the presence returned, watching, waiting. At first, it was subtle. A shadow near the window, a flicker at the edge of my vision, a whisper of movement when I thought I was alone. But then, it started to get bolder. One night, I woke up to the feeling of cold fingers brushing my arm. I shot awake. The room was empty. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears, but something had been there. I knew it. I could feel it retreating into the shadows. Then there were the sounds. Small, almost imperceptible noises at first. Soft scratching near the walls, faint tapping on the window, breathing. A slow, deliberate rhythm that didn't match mine. It was watching me sleep and learning how I moved, how I reacted. I began noticing other things. My belongings moved slightly. A pillow shifted. My blanket tugged in ways I hadn't done. Nothing drastic, nothing obvious, just enough to make me question my own sanity. And then the eyes. Always those faint, glowing eyes. I started seeing them when I blinked awake, in mirrors, reflections on my phone screen. Even the glint of metal on my nightstand seemed to carry a shape. Always watching, always patient. One night I tried to confront it. I turned on every light, made noise, yelled, "I know you're here!" My voice cracked, but nothing responded. Nothing moved. And then, in the silence, I saw it move, fast this time. Not humanly fast. It darted across the room like a shadow escaping a flame. The air seemed to ripple where it passed. My skin crawled. My lungs burned from panic. It was close, too close, so close I could almost feel it behind me, smelling the air I breathed. And that was when I understood. It wasn't just curious. It wasn't just observing. It was waiting for something, waiting for me to slip, to fall asleep, waiting for the moment I was most vulnerable. I began to dread nightfall. Every shadow, every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light became unbearable. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't focus, and I couldn't leave my apartment. Not yet, because I had a feeling, deep down, it wasn't going anywhere. It happened on the 5th night. I can't forget it. I was exhausted, trembling under the covers, praying sleep wouldn't come. But it did. And with sleep came it. I woke to a presence at the foot of my bed. Not a shadow this time. Solid, almost. My blankets shifted violently as if gripped by invisible hands. I froze. My mind screamed, but my body refused to move. Then a sound, not a whisper, a low guttural rasping like something crawling from the depths of the earth. It circled me, slow, deliberate, closer and closer. I tried to scream. My voice wouldn't work. My throat felt tight, like it had been compressed. The figure leaned over me, its glowing eyes burning through the darkness. I could see the outline of its form now. Too tall, too thin, limbs bending in ways that shouldn't be possible. And it watched me, not just observing, analyzing every heartbeat, every shiver, every rapid breath. I realized then it knew me, knew my fear, knew exactly how far it could go. I don't know when I moved, but I did. Desperate, I rolled off the bed, stumbling toward the door, and it followed. Not like a person, not like a normal predator. It glided. The air around it distorted. My vision caught glimpses of its form, sometimes close enough I could see faint, writhing shadows beneath the surface of its skin, or whatever it was. I reached the door. My hands shook as I tried the lock. My apartment felt smaller, the walls bending inward. Every shadow reached for me. And then it whispered, not words, just vibrations through the floor, the walls, even my chest. Stay. I could feel it, not hear it. A command, a threat. I slammed the door, pressed my back against it, shaking. My phone lit up. Emergency lights from the street filtered in. And then silence. But it wasn't gone. I could feel it, hiding, patient, waiting for the next night. I don't know how it entered. I don't know why it watches. All I know is it's still here, and I'm running out of options.
After that night, I didn't sleep. Not really. I stayed awake, watching the shadows, listening for any hint of its return. Every creak, every rustle, every flicker of light made my heart race. I tried everything. I moved my bed away from the corners. I set up cameras, lights, motion sensors. Nothing worked. It wasn't afraid, not of me, not of cameras, not of anything. Then one morning, I woke to find my apartment rearranged, subtly. Pillows stacked differently, a chair slightly tilted. The smallest details, but deliberate. Someone or something was leaving messages, and that's when I noticed it. On my ceiling, written faintly, in condensation, like a message from a mirror on a steamy night. Soon. I don't know what it means. I don't know when soon will come, but I do know it's still here, watching, waiting, always just beyond the edge of sight. Some nights, I swear I see it in reflections, in the glint of my phone screen, in the windows, always there, a shape that shouldn't exist, a presence that doesn't belong in this world. I tried leaving, tried staying with friends, but I can feel it following me. Not physically, not always, but wherever I sleep, it finds me. The thought that keeps me awake most nights is, what if it's patient enough to wait for me to relax completely, to stop guarding myself? What will it do then? And now I've started noticing something else. The shadows outside my apartment, on the streets, in parking lots, across the park, figures that move unnaturally, gliding silently, watching from a distance. I think it's not alone. I don't know if I can ever be safe again. I don't know if anyone can. But one thing is certain. The moment you feel like you're alone, the moment you let your guard down, that's exactly when it will find you. So now, I wait, I watch, I survive, and I pray that somehow I'm ready for the night it decides I've slept long enough. Because I know that night is coming. And when it comes, I don't think I'll be able to wake up.